Hey guys, so I just found out from Hawaii that my bird passed away, and oh, it's terrible. So my bird was about 4 years old, and he um he was a really great bird. His name was Sau Sau. You guys might have seen some pictures of him. He was an absolute sweetheart. He was my high anxiety lovebird. And one thing that really stood out to me is how we first got him. So I had a lovebird named Emmy, and he was about 17 and a half years old when he passed away. And during his last year of life, him and the bird that was in the cage, his name was Alo. They escaped from the cage. The cage door was accidentally open, and Emmy flew away. Alok flew away, and I was really thankful we got Emmy back, but we never got Alok back. We went to, I was heartbroken about it because um, I I remember that my bird Emmy had gone through a bunch of other, having other birds, and either the birds passed away or they flew away. And that's the one thing about lovebirds, like they're escape artists. So it took a lot of trial and error, and Emmy Emmy was, an old bird, and he had no friends. So my dad went to the pet store one day, and he was looking for birds. He was looking for a lovebird that was docile and wasn't to look like a big bully or anything. He didn't want to have a Mr. Clinton. So he looks, and after a few weeks, he sees a bunch of lovebirds at a pet store, and he looks at the price. It's like $24.99. He says, "Oh, it's on sale, so it's a good price." It's like a cage of just green peach face lovebirds, and they ask him, "Which one do you want?" And my dad can't make up his mind, so he sticks his hand into the cage, and all the birds go left and all the birds go right, except one bird is completely frozen in fear. And my dad puts his hand around that bird, and he realizes the bird isn't biting him. So he says, "This is the bird I want. It's the bird that's not gonna bully my bird. I'll take it." And that bird became Sau Sau. So, Sau Sau didn't bite people. He didn't like people. He didn't like. He didn't like people too much. He was a loner. He didn't like other birds. My friend had a bird named Benji. Benji is an absolute sweetheart. So friendly, not a mean bone in his body. And Sau Sau did not like this bird. He wanted to keep his distance from that bird, which is strange because everybody loves Benji. The other thing about Sau Sau is Sau Sau is really quiet, so he doesn't chirp, and as a result of that, he always got nutriberries. That's a bird treat. Think of it like greenies, but for birds. He got nutriberries. He got millet spray. He had a big cage for him, and I I know that Sau Sau had a really good life. So even when I've been here in New York, I've been ordering nutriberries for Sau Sau. I bought him like a 3 pound bag of nutriberries. The bird is only 2 ounces, by the way. And I told my dad, I said, this is for Sau Sau. I know the price of stuff is expensive in Hawaii. Don't buy the nutriberries on in the local pet store. Buy it on Amazon because it's so much cheaper. So, um, he had his daily pellets, he had his nutriberries, he had his millet, and every day he would be getting these treats in. And whenever I got calls, I always said, "How is Sau Sau? How's he doing?" And the last time I spoke to my dad, he told me, "Oh, Sau Sau, he's very nice. Whenever I come home in the morning, he always greets me, and when I give him food, he kind of bows his head, like he bobs his head up and down, and hurriedly wants the treats." And things like that. If you remember when I was talking about Sau Sau, um, I always put Sau Sau on a diet. I always did. I gave him millet like once every 2 weeks. I gave him like two Nutriberries. That was it. With my dad gives him like five Nutriberries a day, and Sau Sau doesn't like eating his plain pellets because the pellets have no flavor compared to the Nutriberry. The Nutriberry had like cranberries and fruit inside of it, and like some kind of like honey or sugar. It tastes much better than the plain pellets. I guarantee you that. So, um, long story short, I found out like a month ago that they were doing painting for the apartment building, and this is just maintenance painting. So we had to move. My dad had to move everything from the balcony into the living room, and they finished. And then my dad moved Sau Sau's cage back onto the balcony, and I guess they were painting or something like that. We don't know really what happened, but all we know is Sau Sau passed away unexpectedly today, and he was found on the bottom of the cage. I I want to say that I think it's the fumes. Although my dad told me he couldn't smell anything. If you remember, they said back in the olden days they used to keep canaries in mines to tell them if if the canary is dead, like it's more sensitive to poisons. And if you have a balcony, it's it's open air, but there's more airflow, but it's like the bird is just so sensitive. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking, I don't know what happened to that bird. I want to say that maybe it's something to do with the fumes. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's just bad timing, um but yeah, he passed away like way too soon. Sau Sau was only we got Sau Sau in like 2016, and that means he's only about 4 or 5 years old, and it was just way too young. It's just way too young. I I thought that we had probably about a good like 10 years or so with this bird, and it's one of those things like when you have such a sweet bird like that, and he was so mild mannered, he was so quiet, he was a respectful bird. You just know that it's hard to it's hard to just think about that bird being gone, because it's just, yeah. So I mean, I've had lovebirds in my life for over 20 years. I mean, my first lovebird was Emmy in 1998, and it just saddens me that like right now there's no lovebird at all in the apartment. And I guess I was just used to that. I saw Sau Sau when I was in Hawaii in December, and I told him I would be back. And yeah, it's just I thought when I would be back in Hawaii I would see Sau Sau again, but obviously he's gone. So my dad told me that he buried Sau Sau in a little makeshift casket of sorts. And he included his favorite treat, Nutriberries and millet. And he buried him next to Emmy. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, the upside is that he's with my bird, and I guess that's a solace of some sort. But I'm just not used to thinking about my bird being gone. It's just tough. I mean, I didn't play with that bird much for obvious reasons, but I had a big soft spot for that bird. And I really, when I last saw him, I really truly believed that I would see him again. Yeah. It's funny because it's a 2-ounce lovebird, and I'm absolutely like, I feel terrible about what happened with Sau Sau. I don't, you know, blame anybody for it. I just am sad that he passed away way too soon. And if it was due to, any fumes or poisoning, I just, it's something that I knew about for many years. If you're a bird owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to use Teflon, for instance, because you hear that it can kill birds. If you notice, like, I don't even cook with Teflon. I cook with cast iron for that reason. And yeah, when I think logically about it, that's the only thing I can think about that could have been possible. I asked my dad. I said, was he sick? Did he have, was his eyes closed? Was he puffed up? Did he show any signs of being sick within the last few days? And he said, no, the bird was fine. Yesterday he was happy. He was eating so much. He was in a good mood. He was he was always appreciative, Sau Sau was always a very appreciative, humble little bird that barely made any noise. And I took a lot of pride in Sau Sau. Um, when we first got him, he was a dull lovebird. He didn't have the greatest of food, so I got him feather conditioner. I put him on Lefebvre's. I even emailed Lefebvre's, believe it or not, and I actually thanked them for the bird food because I said, this is how Sau Sau looked like before your bird food, and this is how he looks like now, and he looks like he looks like a much healthier lovebird, and it was really because of the food. But also the feather supplement when I look in hindsight. I think that if you love something so much, like especially an animal, you want to give it the best nutrition you can, if you can, so that way they live a really long life. I never want to have a pet and think, maybe I didn't feed that pet well enough, and that's why, they passed away early on. But yeah, it's just tragic. So, um, yeah, I was in the middle of cooking and I got the phone call, and I just, yeah. So, yeah. And on a personal note, I've been thinking about death kind of lately, because like within this week, this is actually the week like my mom passed away. She passed away over 10 years ago. But it's like when like a parent passed away, you kind of have that death, the day that they pass, kind of ingrained in your mind. So I've kind of like thought about it, and I mean, like, it hasn't really it doesn't make me cry or anything, but it's just like a heaviness. So to know that my bird passed away, um it just, I guess it's just a little much. So, but I was thinking about things, and I told my dad. I said, at least Sau Sau is with Emmy and my mom and everything. I feel like he's not alone. Yeah, it's just it's just a lot to take in. So yeah, it's just hard to deal with the pet passing away, and I'm sure it would have hit me hard regardless of the day, but it's just like, this is within the next 7 days kind of thing. It's just gonna be a really heavy day for me. You know, yeah. So yeah. So I talk about my lovebird. I know some of you guys asked me about my lovebird, and he passed away. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever be getting. I asked my dad. I said, do you think? And I know it's too soon, but I said, do you think you'll be getting another bird in the future? Because he wanted to return the bird treats. Yeah. So the bird treats. Listen to this. The bird treats. The 3-pound bird treat refill for Sau Sau actually came in the mail today. So my dad comes home. He sees that Sau Sau passed away, and then later on when he checks the mail, he sees that Sau Sau's bird treats came in, and he asked me, he said, "Oh, Erica, do you know how to return this stuff?" And I said, "Yeah." It's just, yeah, it's it's just bad timing. It's just really bad timing. Yeah, yeah. My dad really loved that bird. He really, really did. And I'll always remember Sau Sau. It's I just think Sau Sau passed away way too soon. Just way too soon. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just, it's hard because when you have a pet, and I've had many pets in the past. Okay, I've had fish, I've had mice, I've had Jackson chameleons, I've had, what else have I had? Birds, of course, I've had lovebirds. Each pet I remember distinctively. I remember like my pet Goldie. He he was like a golden color mouse. We got him from a pet store. He was like only $1. And he was such a sweet mouse. He never bit me. He wasn't stink like most male mices. At night, he would run on his wheel, and it would go like ee, 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 ee. It would be squeaky, and he had a pink wheel because I honestly thought this mouse was a female, but he wasn't. And when he passed away, he was over 3 years old. So I knew around that time, like, he would be passing away. Because I know the life expectancy for mice is about, like, 3 years old or so. And so even though I was sad about it, I figured, oh, he had a long life. It's to be expected. That kind of softens things. But when you have an animal and they just pass way too soon, it just it makes me think like a life got extinguished a little too short. And I guess it comforts me in a little way because I know Sau Sau knew he was loved. And I know that this bird had, he always had treats. He had more treats, in my opinion, for a lovebird than most lovebirds get. I mean, my dad adored that lovebird. And Sau Sau was like that antisocial but high anxiety lovebird that just wanted to be by himself. He didn't want to socialize with anybody else. And I'm not gonna say much about my dad, but let's just put it this way: they got along very well. So it just makes me sad. And it also makes me think that, on a very honest note, that the anniversary of my mom's death is coming up, and my dad doesn't have, of course, my mom, but he also doesn't have Sau Sau, and it just stings a little bit more, because I'm here in New York as well, and I'm kind of figured, Sau Sau is at least keeping my dad company, and Sau Sau's not there anymore, so I don't know. It's just and the and it's just compiled with a whole bunch of other things. It's just and it's raining in New York too, so it doesn't make me feel any cheerier. You guys can see. Look, it's all gloomy, dark, and depressing. Okay, maybe the camera doesn't show it, but it's been raining all day, and I was thinking to myself today, I was like, why is the sky so gray? Why is it raining so much? And I just got the call not too long ago about my birds. So I think it's kind of fitting, but hopefully, things will be better tomorrow, and like the sun will shine, and I just need to have hope. I need to have hope and need to have faith that my little bird is in a better place. And none of it particularly. By the way, I was gonna That's why this thing is in the middle. I was gonna put this in a new box, but just pet loss really blows. Yeah, it really blows. Yeah. Yeah. I was, I did not want anything to happen to this bird while I was gone in New York. I said, if I'm not there to buy his NutriBerries, I'll have it mailed over to him. If he's running low on his pellets, I'll have it mailed over to him. And, yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's something so. Now it's like tomorrow there's gonna be absolutely no chirps coming from that bird cage and yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ruslan said that he had to take care of a very ill bird. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it was for me too. My bird Emmy, during the last month of his life, I had to take him to the vet like 5 times. He just had a really weak immune system, and I was giving him medications I think 2 times a day. And you just have a lot of faith in those animals, and it's the reason why I take geriatric care with these cats so seriously because uh, I don't mind documenting how these cats are. I know some people are like, "Oh my goodness, it's a cat stream again," but the time we have on Earth is very finite, especially with animals. Like that's the thing that really blows. Animals pass away before us. However, if I think about it, I rather have an animal pass before me than after me because at least I know that the level of care that they have can be maintained as long as I live versus if they're rehomed to another owner, just quickly just so that the animal stays alive. I I think, will the animal suffer because of it? I shared that about Stuffy. I got congested. I shared, I think yesterday actually, that I had a friend who he decided to just dump his animals. Um, his girlfriend at the time, now wife, didn't like the animal, and he spent like I think close to a decade, something like 8 years with the bird, and he had the bird since it was only a few weeks old, and he decided to sell the bird off because he said the bird didn't like him anymore. And yeah, I remember thinking, and I still believe that it must have been traumatic for that animal, right? You don't know, like if I go on a trip and the animal doesn't see me for 2 weeks, right? I don't think the animal comprehends that I'm gonna be gone for only 2 weeks, but they hold hope that they'll see me again. I could never do it for an animal that I've had long term to just give them up and not and never see them again. I think it's cruel because maybe the animal would say, did the animal do? They would might think like, did they do something wrong or, and just feel neglected. So I'm sure Oreo had a home before, and well, Oreo was found on the streets, and I really think he was a dumped cat. And I think that's the reason why I'm very protective of that cat. I don't want him to feel like he got neglected. So, yeah, 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 Dushra. It's it's been about, let's see, my mom passed away in 2008. It's gonna be 12 years, right? No? Yeah. Yeah. Um and it's when they say time heals all wounds, it doesn't really heal wounds in my opinion. It just makes it easier to come up with a new normal. And I think about her almost every day. Yeah. But it gets really tough around, that week that she passed away. And when around that time I get a little heavy, so but it's heavier this year because of my bird. No, nobody came to comfort me. Oriole's on the bed napping, and Barry and Clinton are sleeping somewhere. Yeah, feather picking usually comes out if they're stressed out, or um, if they're stressed out, or have some kind of anxiety issue. Usually, but I had a bird that was a feather picker, and I could never figure out the reason why. Um, I could never figure out the reason why. He had a another bird with him, and it just seemed like he was feather picking for a reason I could not comprehend. He had food, he had water. I tried to socialize with him, and he kept feather picking. Ugh. Yeah, I've had those dreams too. You know, I've had those dreams where I thought my bird was still alive, my bird Emmy was still alive, and I have this. Um, it's been, what was it? He passed away in 2016. It's been like 4 years since he passed away. So when I dream of him, I know he passed away, but instead of like snapping myself out of that dream, I just kind of hold on to it. I remember like 1 year after he passed, I was cleaning the balcony and I saw a yellow feather. He was a yellow peach face lovebird. So he had a pink face and a yellow body, mostly yellow, but some green on his wings. And I remember when I saw that yellow feather unexpectedly on the floor, I just lost it because I was just, it's like that little trigger. It's just something so innocent that reminds you of something that you love so much that passed away. It's like so tough. Yeah. So, uh, good stuff. I have a jar of, if any of you have birds, I would recommend keeping like a glass jar of feathers. I've kept a glass jar of feathers for my birds, and uh, it kind of comforts me when I see that jar. It's feathers that they naturally shed, like tail feathers and some regular feathers. That when I see it, I know that I still have a piece of them, and it's in a convenient area, and it won't get bitten by bugs or anything. Feathers in a jar. Yeah, I don't know if I have any feathers from Sau Sau in that jar, but I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty sure I do. Sometimes I dream about the dog I had as a kid, and I'm always so happy. Yeah, yeah. I think the thing about pets is that you love them so unconditionally and you wish the best for them. And when they do pass away, it's just gut wrenching. It really is. I remember I had a fighting fish too. A fighting fish I named Rocky, and he passed away despite my best efforts to um, take care of him, and I was very sad about Rocky as well. Yeah, he had a I got him from a pet store, and I think he was biting his tail because he was the only one with a messed up tail. So a fighting fish usually has a pretty long tail, right? But his tail was like always this short, and I bought him because I thought he probably is the fish that nobody wants. And I had him for I think 3 years or so, and he passed away. I think that was kind of short for a fighting fish in hindsight. I tried to give him a good life. I did. I got him a pet plant, and he destroyed that plant. He made salad out of it. He was a tiny fighting fish, but man, was he aggressive. He was aggressive. Yeah, Rocky the beta. Yeah, he was a blue and red beta fighting fish. I think I got him from Petco or something like that. No, wait, did I get him from Petco? Oh, I can't remember where I got him from. All I know is when I bought him, his tail was imperfect already. Yeah, they live such a short amount of time. I gave him I think he was living in a 10-gallon tank because I didn't like the idea of him living in one of those small beta tanks. You know the ones that are like this big? I'm like, no, the fish needs more space than that. So, yeah. I don't I'm not a I don't like I don't have a good fish keeping thing and especially my small foray with a goldfish. I had a goldfish, and man, that thing produced so much waste for being such a tiny fish. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. It was terrible. I will never own the goldfish again. It was a mean pooping machine. It just pooped and pooped and pooped and pooped. So, birds is my favorite kind of pet to have. But I do like cats. Obviously, I have a big soft spot for Oreo. So, yeah. Aw. Aw. I've never, in Hawaii, nobody can have gerbils. But that's amazing. Your gerbil lived 5 years, so much longer than normal. Uh, yeah. Do you still have gerbils? Uh-oh, we gotta mail ever again. Yeah, but uh, yeah, pets are expensive. Those costs really add up. But it's not the it's like the upfront cost isn't too bad. It's not nearly as bad as when they become senior citizens. Oh, that's when you um be ready be ready for possible large vet bills or large vet visits and things like that. Yeah. But I do believe strongly for anybody who has a pet, it's important to see that animal from the time you first take it in to when it passes away. Yeah. I think, when you look back at life, you're not really going to remember the inanimate objects you've had. You're going to remember the experiences. You're going to remember memories. And that's why it's better to try and make more happy memories than just buy more stuff. I've been posting on my community channel about how I've been thinking about environmental stuff, and it's crazy. Like my sports sack bags are made out of nylon. Those nylon bags don't biodegrade. I didn't realize that. Yeah, they don't biodegrade, so they might be around for the next 30 years. And a lot of the stuff around the house it's made out of polyester. That's not biodegradable either. And I it kind of scares me to think. And I pass away and my leggings will still be around. My handbag is still gonna probably be around to be usable. Think about it. Like, what if this pillow is still around in 60 years? I don't know what it. I know it's artificial. I think it's made out of some. It's definitely some synthetic material for sure. But just uh, not good. Yeah, I feel a little better. Um, but yeah, or more, yeah. Yeah. So when this lockdown ends, uh, I wanna go back to Hawaii and visit for a bit. Like I said, I was really expecting to visit Sau Sau and see how he was doing, but he passed away. He was found on the bottom of his cage today, and yeah, it just the fact that he was found on the bottom of his cage just makes me a little sadder because if he had died in his birdhouse, there would have been a small chance that he passed away in his sleep. Small chance, right? But if he's found on the bottom of his cage, not in his birdhouse, that means that he probably either had a stroke or he suffered, and yeah, he's a very I just hope that he passed away quickly. That's all. And I hope he's in a better place. That's all I wish for that bird. And I do believe in the afterlife. And I hope that he's very happy in the afterlife. But when I think about it, if he is flying around in the afterlife, he's not gonna be coming towards me that day that I see him. He's gonna be running away from me. He's gonna be all antisocial. He's not a cuddly bird. He's a very loner kind of bird. But yeah, he was a really good bird, and I hope he has a really good afterlife. It's that's my that's my only wish for that bird. He's in a happier place and he's healthy and he has a wonderful time. And I hope I see him again. Yeah. Sau Sau was only about this tall. He was only about 3 inches tall. Yeah, 2 ounce, 3 inch tall lovebird. I think he was like 53 grams last I weighed him. And it's just it's just heavy to think about. Small little lovebird. The lovebird that didn't show much love to me. But I knew he was loved. Yeah. No, no, Oreo's sleeping right now. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Clinton's being Clinton. Yeah, he has food. He has food. Yeah. I had a feeling, that maybe someone passed away when my dad called me, but I didn't know it was gonna be Sau Sau. I thought it was gonna be a family member who's pretty old. Yeah, who's like over 90 years old. But I'm happy to know that family member still's around, and yeah, it's also just too soon, way too soon. Yeah. So when I go to Hawaii, I'm definitely gonna visit Sau Sau's grave. I know where it is. Give him some treats and yeah, give him some treats and tell him how much I love him. But I'm sure that he could probably. I don't know if he wants to hear me right now, but I'm sure if he wanted to, he could hear me right now. Yeah. Lewis is calling me. I'll pick up in a bit. So, yeah. It's just It's just tough, but anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Yeah, sure. I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I expect someone to probably ask me, how's your bird doing in chat? But I just tell them that, unfortunately passed away. And he's off having a better life in the afterlife. If there's like a vouching system I could do for pets in the afterlife for loved ones, I totally vouch for my little bird. No. Yeah. Now he's free, and I hope he has a bunch of bird treats. And I hope he gets to see all his friends on the other side. Yeah. Oh yeah, Sau Sau, he used to warn us when a street bird would come in. One of those gray doves. If you're from Hawaii, you know what I'm talking about. Like those, it's like a zebra dove. We used to have them coming in, and if they walked past his bird cage, Sau Sau would go ballistic. He would start chirping and screaming at them, like, don't go in the living room. I thought that was the cutest thing about him. He was like a little security guard, even though he was stuck in a cage. Yeah. And he really looked like a tennis ball. Someone once told me, they said he looks like he didn't fully grow because he was kind of short and stumpy. Yeah, but I loved him so much. Really did. Yeah. 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 I'll try to find a picture of him and probably upload it in the description somewhere. I think I have a picture of Sau Sau somewhere. Yeah. Somewhere. On my computer. I just don't know where it is at the moment. Yeah. I wish I took more pictures of Sau Sau, to be very honest with you guys. It's important. If you guys have any pets, make sure you take lots of pictures and videos of them, because the day they do pass away, you're probably, maybe not that day, but you can look back at the memories that you have of your pets or even your loved ones and remember all those times that you shared with them. Yeah. So remember how they chirp, remember how they smiled at you. It's just all the little things. That's uh that's the thing I'll probably revisit today. I have a video of him somewhere. Maybe I'll upload it on YouTube if I can find it. I don't know if I have it on. I think I have it on my camera at home. In Hawaii. I don't think I have it on here, but when I when I when I do go to Hawaii, I'll upload it. There's like a little memory of my little green bird named Sau Sau. Yeah. Yeah. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'm gonna end the stream. See ya, and don't forget, hug your pets, hug your loved ones, and try and take a lot of video and pictures of them, because the time that we share on the earth with them is absolute precious and finite. See ya.